show you the difference of two squares. So let's have a look. We are going to have an expression that looks something like this. A plus B times A minus B. So we're going to have two brackets again that are kind of the same, except for that operation sign in between is once a plus and once a minus. And we're going to find a rule or law on how to expand these brackets. So, as always, first we're going to look at an example. So, my first example is y plus 2 times y minus 2. And we would like to try and find out how to expand these brackets. To do this, we will first of all draw a multiplication grid. We're kind of used to that already now. Multiplication grid has a multiplication sign here. Might make it a little bit longer. So there we go. So let's get started. So to represent our y, I'm going to use those green tiles. And we know already the first bracket goes in the first column here. We have one y, and we have got 2 units that I need to put here. The second bracket is going to go here. Again, we have one y, and now we also have 2 units, but these 2 units are now negative. So we need to make sure that we use that red side of the unit tile. And there we go. So let's see. Let's multiply this. We have x times x, giving us x squared. X times negative 1. You know, x times 1 is 1. X times negative 1, so positive times negative, gives us negative. So we need to flip that over. X times negative 1 gives us a negative x. Next line here, this row. 1 times x gives us x. 1 times negative 1, positive times negative, gives us a negative 1. 1 times negative 1 gives us a negative 1. Last row, 1 times x gives us x. 1 times negative 1 gives us a negative 1. 1 times negative 1 gives us another negative 1. And there we are. So this is our solution to that product. That's our product. Let's now collect the like terms. So we have the units. We usually put them at the end. We have our x's. And we have our x squared. So what do we get? Let's write this down. We have here x squared. Oh, sorry. X squared. You know what? Because I'm always saying x, I'm just going to change that y to an x here. I'm really sorry. So x squared. And now let's have a look. What happened to our x's here? This is a 0 term. And this is a 0 term. So all our x's are gone. I don't write anything there. And what we're left with is that negative 4 here. That's the negative 4 that we're left with. And that's the solution to our problem. I'm really sorry. I need to apologize for mixing up the x's and the y's. I thought I'm going to use another variable, but then I'm so used to using x's that halfway through I forgot to call them y. I hope it didn't confuse you. Let's go back to our general problem, a and b. Remember, for the perfect square already, I used the green tile for the a and the pink tile for the b. I'm going to do the same now. So a goes here, b goes here. I hope to remember that I'm going to use a and b and not x and y. So the second bracket goes in our first row. That's the a. And now this b is negative. So we need to flip it over to the red side. Let's put it in our first row here and here to see what we get. A times b. A times a here gives us a square. Let's straight away label that so that we don't forget. This is a squared, right? A times a gives us a squared. Then we have here a times negative b. Now remember, we had initially already a times b giving us a rectangle with the side length a and b. Now, however, this will be negative. So I am going to use those green tiles and just flip them over, because positive times negative gives us negative. So let's see. I am going to make a rectangle here. And this rectangle I'm going to write this out again, has the side length here being a, and this side length being negative b. And that gives us a rectangle with the area negative AB. And I'm going to go to that second row here. We have here b times a. Now this is positive, there is no negatives involved. So I'm going to use those green tiles again to form that rectangle. We have here a rectangle. And this rectangle now has a side length of A and the side length of B. So we're going to label it with the area of A times B being AB. And finally, we have here B times negative B. So B times B gives us B squared. But because it's positive times negative, I am going to flip this b squared over to its negative side to get negative b squared. So what have we got here for our general rule? Let's have a look. Got a b squared. And I have got now all these tiles making AB and negative AB. And you can see already that they will form a zero term. They cancel each other out. AB, take away AB, will simply be nothing. And we have that a square here. So let's start with that a square. So we have that a square here. Then all of this cancels. Zero term, zero term, zero term, zero term, zero term, zero term. So they're all gone. And all we are left with is that negative b squared. And this again is a really important formula, law rather than a formula. It's a very important law that you should remember. You're going to need it all the way through to DP2, no matter whether you're going to take standard or higher, you will definitely need this law. I'm going to pause here because I would like you, I made a mistake here, by the way. Can you see my mistake? Can you spot it? I missed something. Exactly, I forgot to put the square here. So I would like you to pause the video and try to use the law that we just came up with to figure out whether this is exactly the same as this one here. I'm assuming that you have paused the video and that you're back to check if you did use this law correctly. So let's have a look. A plus 2 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. So our x is the A, our 2 is the B, times A minus B. And our law says that this gives us A squared take away B squared. Now let's check. A squared, the A is the first term here in our bracket, and we need to square it. So we get our x squared. The B is that second term in our brackets, and it says we need to square it and put the minus in front. So 2 squared is 2 times 2, which gives us 4, and the minus in front. So we're good. We did everything correctly. We used that method, and we got the same answer. Another example. 3 take away 2y. 3 add 2y. And maybe I'll be regretting to use y here again. I'll do nevertheless. So you can see here, it doesn't matter whether the plus comes first or the minus comes first. It's still the same method. It's exactly the same way we're going to do it. I'm going to start, as always, with our algebra tiles. So in our first bracket, we have here 3 units. 1, 2, 3. And we have 2 y's. So that's our y. We have 2 of them. However, we need to flip them because they are negative. So 2y here, they just about fit. And in our second bracket, we have again 3 units. 1, 2, 3. And we have, again, two y's. In this case, they're positive. I'd like you to pause the video, try to solve this by yourself from here, see how it goes, try to use this method, and then come back to check your answer. So I'm assuming that you have paused the video and that you're here to check. So let's go through this. We will need quite a few unit squares here, unit tiles here. 1 times 1 gives us 1. 1 times 1 gives us another unit. 1 times 1 gives us another unit. 1 times x gives us 1x. 1 times x gives us 1x. And it is exactly the same for this row and for this row. So I am just going to lay those out. Next row, here, I have this negative x here times 1. Negative times positive gives us negative 1x. And again, negative x times 1 gives us negative x. And here I am regretting my decision again to use that y. I'm going to change it here. I can't help it. I am calling these x's all over again. Negative x times 1 gives us negative x. Negative x times positive x. Remember, negative times positive gives us negative x squared. Negative x times positive x gives us negative x squared. And here we are. I am simply going to copy down the exact same thing as I had above. So there we are. And here we have our solution. This is the product of these two brackets when we expand them. Let's have a look. So let's rearrange them so that we can collect like terms. Here we have our x squares. Here we have our x. And here we have our units. There we go. Nearly did it. There we go. So let's start with those units. We have how many? We have 9 units here. And then comes the interesting part. We have 1 0 term. That's gone. We have another 0 term. That's gone. And another one. And another one. X take away x. X take away x is 0. And x take away x is 0 again. So what do we have left here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 x squared. However, these 4x squared are negative. So let's clear those tiles away and use our law that we just found here to see if we're correct. A minus b times a plus b is going to be a squared take away b squared. Let's have a look now. Our a is that first term in our brackets. That first term is a 3. 3 squared gives us 9. So that's correct. Minus, let's have a look, b squared. B is that second term here. So 2x and we need to square it. Remember, put the brackets around your 2x here. So what have we got? 3 squared, we said already, is 9. Take away. Remember index law? This means 2 to the power of 2, giving us 4. X to the power of 2 is x squared. And we found out that we get exactly the same thing when using the algebra tiles or our difference of 2 squares law in this example as well. Please practice using your algebra tiles and the law that we found here to find the difference of 2 squares. And I'll see you for the next video shortly. Thanks for watching.